Hello, and I hope you're doing well. A major theme of Pope Francis's pontificate has been this idea of going to the margins. Going to the margins. By this, Pope Francis means that our mission of evangelization should be carried out first and foremost to those who are in most need, those who are excluded from society, the suffering, the poor, the desolate. The people to whom we should proclaim the good news of Jesus' resurrection should be first and foremost to those who need to hear it the most, those who are suffering, those who are on the margins. This actually was Jesus' method of evangelization, of bringing the good news to other people. And we see this quite clearly in a story that we've been hearing a lot over the Easter season. This is the story of Jesus and the disciples on the road to Emmaus. This is taken from Luke chapter 24. And in this story, we hear about how there are two disciples who are suffering, who are sorrowful, who are sad because Jesus Christ, in whom they put all their hope, has died, and they do not know that he has yet risen. And Jesus seeks out these two disciples who are really people who are on the margins because they're suffering and sad. And Jesus ultimately announces to them the good news of his resurrection by opening the scriptures, talking about how all the scriptures speak about him, and also breaking the bread for them. That is, celebrating the Eucharist with them. In today's first reading, taken from Acts chapter 8, Philip does the same thing as Jesus does on the road to Emmaus in Luke chapter 24. And this is a common thing that happens all throughout Acts of the Apostles. Acts of the Apostles and Luke's Gospel is meant to be read as one literary work. And we see time and time again that something that Jesus does in Luke's Gospel, the early church repeats in the Acts of the Apostles. So we hear in today's first reading, Philip carrying out a very similar evangelistic methodology as Jesus does in Luke chapter 24. In Acts 8, Philip goes and finds and seeks out this Ethiopian eunuch. Now we need to understand why this Ethiopian eunuch is someone who is on the margins, someone who is suffering. We're told that this eunuch went to go to Jerusalem to worship. The first question we should ask ourselves, or a question that lingers in the background of this story, is, would this Ethiopian been even allowed to go and worship? Would he be allowed to have entered the temple? An important detail of this story, of course, is that he is a eunuch. He is castrated. And it's important for us to realize that in the 23rd chapter of Deuteronomy, people who are castrated are forbidden to participate in communal worship. Therefore, this Ethiopian is truly someone who is on the margins. He went to go worship in Jerusalem, but he was probably excluded from the community because of the fact that he was a eunuch. He would not have been allowed, in other words, to worship in the temple. And Philip is led by the Spirit to go up alongside this Ethiopian. And we hear that Philip, just as Jesus on the road to Emmaus, opens the scriptures for this Ethiopian and proclaims Jesus to him, evangelizes him, gives him the good news about who Jesus is. And this Ethiopian then accepts Jesus in faith and acts immediately to be baptized. And right away, Philip goes and baptizes this Ethiopian. He makes him a part of this new community, this new church. This person who is on the margins, who is excluded from worshiping among the rest of Israel, is immediately accepted into the new church, the new community. Philip, just as Jesus on the road to Emmaus, goes and evangelizes someone who is on the margins, takes an outsider and makes them a part of the community. We are called in our life to do the same. Just as Jesus did, just as Philip did, we are called to continue this mission of going to the margins, of bringing the good news about Jesus' resurrection to those who are in most need. How today can we bring hope to someone who is suffering? How can we continue this mission of going to the margins? God bless you and take care.